Hey everybody, welcome to Live at 5. It's February 7th. That's a Thursday. It's Thursday.
It's Thursday.
I'm Beth Stevens.
I'm Paul Wontorek.
And over here we have Mr. Eric King.
Hi, you guys.
Well.
What?
Well, I said to our guest today, welcome back to Live at 5, and he said it was like 5 years ago. It's been a minute, but Andy Kelso is here with us from Kinky Boots.
And he's back in the boots.
Back in the boots.
Yes.
We're gonna
Original
get
cast member.
Original cast member.
He's always fantastic. Mamma Mia.
He's
right?
the best.
We
know this guy. Yeah, but first we're going to get to our top 5.
Well, yesterday we got the principals, and today we're getting the whole dang cast.
I'm not going to say it 3 times fast. I already did
Or
that
slow.
once today in a meeting. I'm not going to do it live. But Beetlejuice is a musical, and it is starting March 28th. They just finished the front of house. If you walk by the Winter Garden, you can see it from our offices, and it looks very black and white and green.
Very black and white. Yeah.
The musical.
There you go.
Anyway, so yeah, yesterday we talked about the leads, which was shocking news, the exact same people that did it in Washington, D.C. And now we're going to find out more repetitive news. But anyway, reprising their performances are Jill Abramovitz as Maxine Dean and Juno, Kelvin Moonlo as Otho, he's very funny, Danny Ritigliano as Maxie Dean, and the really iconic character of the Girl Scout, played by Dana Steingold. So, yeah, it's exciting. I think it starts rehearsals next week.
Wow.
And it's happening, Beth.
It's happening.
It's all happening.
And Cynthia Erivo is coming for that O in EGOT.
Okay. Harriet, the movie, is coming, starring Cynthia Erivo, Tony winner.
Shocking
Cynthia Erivo.
title.
Harriet Tubman story. So we're seeing some images of this
Yeah.
movie, and it looks great.
Yeah.
It's directed by Casey Lemons and features Leslie Odom Jr., Clark Peters, Jennifer Nettles, just a bunch of famous people. Check it out.
But this is what we call Oscar bait.
Oscar bait,
And
totally.
as Eric reminded us, she's
She has
missing
a Tony.
the.
She has a
She has
Grammy.
the E.
She's got
G,
the T.
She has the E, the G, and the T, and she won all of them for the color purple.
Wow.
Related items.
Yep.
Which is so amazing that can happen nowadays.
It's easy for theater people to do that because they go on Good Morning America and then they get an Emmy.
And then the other thing happening is the Color Purple movie, which I assume is going to be the next item we're going to hear. I'm just speculating. I hope you get it, Cynthia.
Of course you will.
And this super showrunner has her eyes on a very iconic movie musical.
This was surprising
Ooh,
news.
yeah.
Yeah, so we all were talking about a new movie version of Gypsy, which is arguably the best musical ever written, right, Beth?
It's my favorite.
Yeah, she thinks so.
I'll say it.
I mean, who doesn't love Gypsy? It's a great show.
Sing out, Paul.
It was a movie before, and it was a TV movie before.
Yes.
And Barbara Streisand, of course, was going to star as Mama Rose, and there was even talks that maybe John Travolta and Lady Gaga were doing a.
There's a lot of chatter.
That happened.
Yeah.
And it was going to be directed by Barry Levinson, produced by Joel Silver, and a screenplay by Richard LaGravenese, who I like to mention because he's one of my favorite screenwriters. But he also directed the Last 5 Years movie that you guys all know and love. Anyway, now Amy Sherman Palladino, who is having a big moment in Hollywood with The Marvelous Mrs. Maisel, but of course also did Gilmore Girls and Bunheads.
Thank you very
featuring
much.
Sutton Foster.
Very important.
Is now in talks to direct the film. That's all we really know. She's in talks. Right. Joel Silver is still producing it. And the buzzed about thing in the item that we saw on Deadline is that Melissa McCarthy, who is celebrating an Oscar nomination right now for, what's that movie called? I hope you forgive me.
Can You Ever Forgive Me?
Forgive Me, which is really fantastic. That she might be Mama Rose, which I could see that happening. I also just want to throw out there that I always joke with Sutton Foster. I was always like, well, I assume eventually you're going to do Mama Rose on Broadway. That'll be like
eventually,
her
down the road.
Tony. But I'm like, well, why not just do it with Sutton Foster in a couple of years?
You know who else ASP knows? Kelly Bishop.
That's true.
Right.
Kelly Bishop was in Bunheads.
Yeah, and Amy Sherman Palladino is a real Broadway lover. So
yes.
This is exciting. I'm curious to see what it is.
The Marvelous Mrs. Maisel is the most non-musical show that should be a musical.
But it has every Broadway actor.
Yes,
every
it
Broadway
does.
actors in it, yeah.
Okay, and this miscast is perfectly cast.
Perfectly cast. Okay, you all know miscast. It is MCC Theater's ritual. It's their ritual.
Yes.
It's their big benefit, and they always have a bunch of talented people. This year, they're honoring Laura Linney on April 1st at the Hammerstein Ballroom. I'm just going to list some names, and you guys can ooh and ah. Are you ready? Right. Thank you for the first one. Billy Porter.
Wow.
Andy Kelso knows him. Ashley Park, Kelly O'Hara, Annalie Ashford. Andy Kelso knows her. Gavin Creel, Beth Lovell, Karen Olivo, Stephanie J. Block.
He
knows everybody. Actually, he knows them all. But I was just doing the Kinky Boots people. Joshua Henry, Andy Carl, Taylor Louderman, Orfei, Jennifer Nettles, Kate Rockwell, Barrett Wilbert Weed. Additional names will be announced shortly.
Cool. It's always
I mean, look at that room already.
Yeah.
April 1st. There you go.
And the Oscars might just look like
This.
So, Mr. David Corns, who is actually the set designer of Beetlejuice, and I got to see
And
the show in
Hamilton.
Washington, a fantastic set. And he, of course, did Hamilton and Dear Evan Hansen and the Broadway.com set. Mr. David Corns did this. He will be designing the Oscars.
Amazing.
Which is really cool. The Oscars,
big deal.
it's going to be really interesting. Everyone's, what's going to happen this year? There's no host.
There's no host, so we're just going to look at the set.
It's been a really interesting year for the Oscars.
Yeah.
It's happening on February 24th, and he will be doing the production design, which will probably, I think didn't he already win an Emmy for Grease Live? He did Grease Live.
He did do Grease Live.
Anyway,
I don't know about the
He's
Emmy.
going to get an Emmy for this, I'm sure, because it's the Oscars.
It's the
It's going to
Oscars.
be gorgeous, and it's probably going to be a little grander than this.
Maybe bigger.
maybe bigger.
We should do like a mock version of the Oscars that night in here. Maybe.
Should we get dressed up?
No.
No.
We could do a live reacts.
Paul, thank you for your service.
Thank you, Beth.
It's been really nice to see you. But Andy Kelso is here.
Yeah.
So, Eric, will you tell us about our guest, please?
Sure thing. Okay. In 2005, Andy Kelso made his Broadway debut as Sky in Mamma Mia, a role in which he played for nearly 3 years. Stage star has also been seen on screen as Lenny in Amazon Prime series Good Girls Revolt. Now he's back on Broadway in his third turn as Charlie Price in Kinky Boots. That's what he's here to talk about today, so leave all your questions in the comments below, and please welcome Beth and Andy.
Hi, Andy.
Hi, Beth.
I said it like so sad. Hi, Andy.
I know.
The last time you were here,
Yeah.
it was a while ago.
It was.
We talked about Kinky Boots. I like to say it like Billy Porter says it.
Kinky Boots.
He likes the boots.
Yeah,
he puts the
emphasis
boots.
on the boots.
And now you're back.
Mm-hmm.
And you just came back a few weeks ago. So how's it going?
It's going awesome. I'm
Is it-
actually
do
having.
you feel like do you have muscle memory? Was it all
Yeah,
there for you?
I
It was.
did. I
Yeah.
did.
Good.
It's kind of one of those things I hated it at first because I was trying to.
You had just shaken it off.
Yeah, I was trying to okay, I'm gonna come back and just like reinvent my Charlie. And then I had like 3 days of rehearsal, and I was like, all right, just do what you know so that you can get in the show. And then, it's actually been great because there's new cast members in the show,
Yeah.
and they're amazing. And
Do
it's
you
already
you
just
all
changed.
gather around the fire and you say, well, this is what it was like when we originally did
Yeah,
it
yeah.
back in the day?
Yeah, we actually did have a little.
Little chat.
Well, because Callum, who's the Lola right now,
Yeah.
he was in the original UK production. So we're
and you have British accents.
and we do, yeah.
In the
His is
Kinky Boots.
authentic.
His is real.
Yeah, mine is not. But so we were sitting in his dressing room after the show on Tuesday night and just kind of like telling stories, just not on purpose, but just like randomly, like, oh yeah, in our production years ago, and we were like,
Oh, both telling about like
Yeah.
way back in the day
yeah,
in the UK or here.
yeah, exactly.
That's fun. I
Yeah,
love
it's
that.
fun.
You know what's awesome is we do something on Broadway.com called Exit Interview, where when someone leaves a show, sometimes we interview them. We don't do it very often, and we usually do it for original cast members. And we did it with Andy when you left, which
Oh,
was
yeah,
2
that's
years
right.
ago, I think,
Yeah.
because you had been such a big part of the show. First of all, your life changed
Yeah.
a lot
Yeah.
from when you first started this journey and then to that point, and now you're back and there are more changes ahead for you. So
That's
tell us
true.
all about it.
Well, we have another bun in the oven, and she is due May 12th.
So you started Kinky Boots.
Yeah.
When did you first start Kinky Boots? Out of town?
It started at 10. Actually, I was a part of readings beforehand, so it was like
And
a
you were a
year
single
or two.
guy?
Yeah. Just
Yeah. No responsibilities, no dependents.
No. Yeah.
Just checking that like on your taxes, like no big deal.
exactly.
And
single.
now, then you got married.
And now it's married, filing jointly. Yes.
Filing jointly. That's how we can really tell that you're serious.
Yeah,
And you have a
exactly.
son who's
And
two
we
and a
have
half.
son, 2.5. Proposed on stage.
Proposed on
It's going to
stage.
be really strange to like not have Kinky Boots around in 2 months.
Yeah. And do you have any of the boots? Did you get to take any? No, you didn't. Oh, maybe you didn't tell
No.
us. Not officially. Not officially.
No, I didn't.
No. That's, yeah. Because Greg Barnes wouldn't like that.
No.
No.
No, No, I didn't have them. I don't have them.
Does your son know any of the songs?
He actually doesn't know the songs yet. We're trying to figure out.
Please put that video on Instagram when you teach him.
I know. We do. I have a video of him walking around in heels, but the boots are like the size of him. So
right, they're really tall.
He can't try those on yet.
We'll get there. Yeah, we'll get there.
Yeah, we'll get there. But he sings the ABCs like you wouldn't believe.
I love it.
And
he's so cute, guys. Check it out. It's I wouldn't bring up your child unless
it was worth it.
You could see it. Well, it's totally worth it. Unless you could see him, and you can see him on social media.
Yeah.
And he's really cute. We're going to take questions from all of you Kinky Boots fans, or how does Billy Porter say it? Kinky
Boots.
Kinky Boots. Thank you.
Yeah. Okay. So Alec would like to know, since you guys had like a pretty long time knowing you were closing and having that closing notice, what has been the mood like around the theater, like sort of getting closer and closer?
I think that because of that, 6 months notice that they got or something.
Right. It's not a sudden thing.
Yeah.
Kinky Boots closes on April 7th.
On April 7th.
And you will be the final Charlie.
Yeah.
Which is awesome.
It's going to be fun. I think everyone's really celebrating the show. It's...
they get to plan ahead with their lives.
Yeah, they've gotten to plan ahead. I mean, of course, everyone's like, oh, what's my next job going to be? But I think with such notice, everyone's just like excited to celebrate the end of the show, and I think that's what it's going to be. It's just going to be like another exciting event in the show's life, closing on Broadway, because obviously it's not going anywhere as far as like regional productions will start popping up. There's one at the Muni this year.
There will be a Kinky Boots somewhere in the world.
Yeah, and the tour's still going on, and so it's sad to leave Al Hirschfeld and stuff, but I think everyone's kind of made their peace with it and just ready to celebrate it and embrace the next chapter in their lives.
I know we have more questions, but I have to ask you something.
Okay.
Because this summer, you did the Full Monty.
Yes.
Which I am so psyched about. So you did the Full Monty in Pittsburgh.
Yeah.
And you played, what's his name? Jerry. The lead,
Jerry
the Patrick
Lukowski.
Wilson role, if you will, on the Broadway.
Yeah.
Tell me about that. I love that show so much.
I love it. It was my Broadway debut, the first Broadway show I ever saw.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, because I lived in Colorado, so my first time in New York was flying out for spring break one year, and we got, I think, tickets at TKTS.
Good choice.
Yes.
Very good choice.
Yes. We went. I saw it in previews.
Wow.
And I just loved it. So I've loved it since I saw it. Always loved the music.
Yeah, it's a great cast album. David Yazbek, of course, who just won a Tony for The Band's Visit.
Yeah, it's awesome. Oh, and Marcus Neville, who's in
Kinky Boots, was in the original cast.
Yeah, so I've, over the past years, I've just geekily asked him questions about the original production stuff. And then when I got cast as the role, and I was like, dude, I'm going to go do Full Monty. Him and Danny Sherman were just like, oh my gosh. And they were like...
People geek out about Full Monty.
And
I think it's time for a revival.
I think
and I think you're perfectly cast.
I would.
Just want to put it out there.
I would love that. It was so fun. And CLO, it happened so fast. I mean, we rehearsed for like maybe a week and a half, and then the run was like a week and a half. I think
you don't want any glitches with the Full Monty, or then they get more than they bargained for.
We might have had one or two glitches, but it was awesome, and I would just love to play that role again somewhere, sometime. It's such a.
We're just putting it out there in case.
Yeah, let's just put it out there.
Anyone wants to.
Speaking of dreams, Leia would like to know, any other dream roles you have in mind?
Any other dream roles?
This is the place to say it. It'll happen if you say it here. Yeah.
It's a magic space.
Okay,
something we've learned.
We got one covered.
Yeah.
I don't know. That question seems like it always puts me on the spot for some reason. I don't know why. I always used to say Mark and Roger from Rent. I got to play Mark.
Yeah.
Roger would be fun. I think I'm getting a little maybe old for it.
No,
but,
you're not. Didn't you see the movie? It's fine. You're fine.
Right. That's right.
It doesn't matter.
Yeah. So that'd be fun.
Are you more of a Mark or a Roger?
If I think about
Which one is more in line
I don't
with your
know.
personality?
I think
Have
that's
you
another
changed?
thing, is I think I'm a little in between. And I loved playing Mark. Mark was, I think it's such a, it's probably maybe more fun role to play, because you just get to go through so many different like journeys as Mark. Whereas I feel like Roger's a lot of times just so,
That's your Roger
but
posture.
But he's just so cool.
Yeah,
and he gets
is
to like
cool.
sing some cool stuff. So I don't know.
But they both work for you. That's
Yeah.
cool. I like it.
Yeah.
I can see you like growing your hair out for a Roger.
A little more
just
Roger.
like a little.
Tina says, welcome back. How do
thank
you
you,
get
Tina.
ready for performances on a 2-show day?
Oh my gosh. Well, it's changed because now I have a toddler, and so now I'm up.
You don't sleep in.
No.
That
no.
doesn't
My
exist for
wife,
parents, yeah.
who I think they're watching. Hi, Jude and
Aw.
Sheila. But she graciously lets me sleep in an extra hour or so.
Till 7?
Yeah. Yeah, exactly right. No, Jude gets up at like 7-ish, and I usually try to get up, but then some nights I don't get home until like at least midnight. So I try to at least get 8 hours. So I'll try to wake up by like 8 or 8:30, and then I'm just kind of up, and I get to the theater, and I always do a warm up before every show.
Like a vocal warm-up or a physical warm-up? Or
And
both?
I do a physical warm-up. If I haven't worked out before coming to the theater, I'll do like a quick 10 or 15-minute yoga class just to get me really centered and my breath going, and yoga just feels good. So
True.
that's mostly what I do. And then I rest in between shows and try
Do you
not
fall
to talk too
asleep in
much.
between shows?
I do now.
Wow.
I didn't used to, but now it's like
Now
I
you're a
think
dad.
As a parent, you just get better at napping.
Get it where you can.
Okay, cool. This could be our last one. This is a good one. I think Alexandra asks, what makes a good scene partner to you?
Oh my gosh, that is a great question.
If they're wearing tall boots
If they're wearing tall boots,
that are red.
If they're Billy Porter.
they're in. If
Or
they're
Callum or
Porter,
anyone.
right.
Yeah.
Big plus.
Yeah. I love a scene partner who is just very present. They're not on autopilot. That sounds kind of like, I guess, pretty a normal answer, but you can really tell the difference when someone is actually there living in the moment and they're not just trying to do their regular show every day. I just love being able to sit across from someone and see that what I'm going to do is going to affect them, and just knowing that they could do something new that I'm not expecting that could affect me. That just makes it so much more exciting rather than someone who's just kind of like doing exactly what they do, their same line readings every night, all the time. Because, it just gets kind of boring and,
You've done a lot of performances in this show.
I have.
Do you know how many?
I could probably count the ones from Charlie because we have them marked in the bathroom.
What was your character's name before?
Harry.
Harry.
And
Harry
Crispin.
Crispin.
Crispin. So all the ensemble members, we created our own names. So
you
like all the ensemble
Yeah.
that you see on stage, they all have names. And
But they're not in the playbill. They're just in the playbill.
they're not in the playbill,
It says
but
ensemble.
I think they're actually in the script when
Oh, wow.
because
So did they, and someday in
Yeah.
rehearsal, did they just turn to you and say, so what's your name?
yeah, there was like one day where, and we all thought we were like, oh my gosh, they're going to put it in the playbill. This is going to be so fun. But I think they were just getting it so that they could, maybe
Differentiate
so Harvey
lines or...
say well French. I don't know.
So
who has the rights, but-
Harvey Firestein didn't give you the name. You guys just said, okay, I'm
No.
going to be Crispin.
No. There's a moment in the show where Charlie calls out people in the factory as they're leaving, when they're leaving him before Soul of Man. And in the script, it's like, Marge, Maggie, Pete, and there wasn't a Pete. So now I don't know what other Charlies have done, but I try to just like call out the people who've like, so Crispin used to be me, then it was Caspin, and
Where did that name come from?
I don't know.
They're just
came out. It
ridiculous
just came out
English
of you.
names.
Crispin, exactly. What was his last name? Crispin Gloveless.
Of course.
I think
What
he
else
has a
would it be?
Twitter handle still.
Oh,
Yeah.
oh my God.
Stunning.
They don't exist except on social media.
Yeah, exactly.
And in the script that you don't get to see.
Yeah.
That's awesome. Guys, I know you've seen Kinky Boots, but have you seen it lately? It's a good question.
Better go
Because
back.
it's playing at the Al Hirschfeld Theater
Yeah.
through April 7th. See this guy. And Eric, will you take us out?
Yes, absolutely. Thank you so much to Crispin Gloveless for coming in today. And thank you guys for tuning in today. We are live at 5 every single day on Facebook. And if you like a podcast, we're in a podcast. And you can go to wherever you get your podcast, type in hashtag live at 5 and slam that subscribe button. Tune in tomorrow when we talk to Michael Campano of The Share Show.